Hey y'all, and welcome back to day 4 of my 12 Days of Christmas series. Today we are working on a foil snowflake alcohol ink peekaboo tumbler. That's a mouthful all in itself. I am working on a 30-ounce curved tumbler from the Tumbler supply store, and I just covered the entire surface. I sanded it and prepped it, and then I covered the entire surface in foil glue from Artistic Painting Studio. And then I'm going to apply these foil flakes that I got from Hobby Lobby in gold and silver. I'm going to just randomly put gold all over in random spots, and then in all of the openings I'm going to apply the silver, so it will just be a complete mixture of gold and silver foil flakes all over the entire tumbler. All I did when applying these was try to pick out the big flakes out of the jar. It kind of is like really smashed in there, so I just kind of pulled some out, applied them right on the tumbler, and just kind of patted them down to make sure that all of the edges are secured on the cup, and then just moved on to the next spot. It was completely random where I put it and just kind of went with what I was feeling in that moment, where it needed some gold and where it needed some silver. And before I go any further, I do want to mention that I got this idea from Vanessa from VMD Designs. I know she did something similar last year. I think it might have been maybe a little bit before that, but I didn't go back and watch her video because I didn't want it to be fresh in my brain. I wanted to take the idea that I had from remembering her video and just apply my own process to it. So after the foil glue was all dry, I applied a coat of epoxy, and then I cut out these snowflakes that I just had found in my Silhouette Studio software, sized some big and some of them small, and I applied them randomly all over the tumbler. And then we're going to go in and spray paint it and then move on to the next step. I originally was going to just spray paint it a blue color and do the peekaboo that way, but I had another idea, so I originally just sprayed it with the Rust-Oleum's Vintage Teal in a satin finish, and then I was going to give it some gold splatter paint, but I thought I wanted to maybe zhuzh it up a little bit. I did that fall themed alcohol ink koozie just a few days or a week or so ago before I was working on this tumbler. So I had alcohol inks out on my desk, and then I had this idea to do some alcohol inks on it in blue instead of just leaving it the vintage teal color. So that's what I did. After the spray paint was completely dry, I just went to town with these alcohol ink colors. I just sprayed alcohol on the tumbler and then put on some alcohol ink, and I used my little heat gun, moved it around, put some more on there, sprayed some more alcohol ink, and then I took a makeup sponge and dabbed it in some areas so it just kind of was all blended really nicely together. The colors I'm using are Bria Reese Perusian Blue, I think is what it's called, and then also the Hobby Lobby brand in Marine Blue. And we all know that sometimes alcohol ink just has a mind of its own, so I really just kept working back and forth. The one thing that working with alcohol inks that's kind of hard to go get around is when you put some on, it wants to just move around the tumbler in a straight line, and I don't care for when it's too straight liney like that. So if I was getting too many lines after also blowing it with the heat gun, I would just take my little makeup sponge and kind of pounce those out, add some alcohol, just kept going back and forth until I was really happy with the look of it. Towards the end, I was spraying a lot of alcohol ink on it. Once I had it fully covered, I would spray a lot of alcohol ink in one spot and just kind of move it around. I didn't want so many little cells pretty much, but like some bigger areas as well. After I was happy with the alcohol ink, I took it outside and still gave it a splatter of the gold spray paint. And my absolute favorite gold metallic spray paint is the Iron Lac brand, and I just get mine from Hobby Lobby. It's a very concentrated, thick formula, I guess you could say. It's not like transparent. It's a very good coverage. So I sprayed that. I let that dry. It dries really fast too, so I didn't have to wait very long. And then I just went in and peeled all of the removable vinyl snowflakes. Once I had all of those snowflakes removed, I gave it a coat of epoxy, and in my epoxy I added just a smidge of luster dust from Diamonds and Dust in the color Champagne, so it just gave some gold sparkle in there. And then I couldn't decide what color outlines I wanted to do on all these snowflakes, so I decided to go with a mixture. My original thought was white, but I wanted to tie in the gold and the silver from the foil flakes, so I just cut all of the offsets out of gold, white, and silver, and I just randomly picked which ones I wanted to apply to which snowflakes. And then I also cut some actual snowflakes, not just the offset, and I applied those in gold, silver, and white as well. I really wanted just this snowflake-filled tumbler. So I overlapped some and I cut some off, had some hang off the top and the bottom, and it came together exactly like my vision for this tumbler. Once I was happy with the placement of all of the snowflakes, I originally had the intention to add some kind of saying to it like Winter Wonderland, but once I got all these snowflakes on there, I loved it so much that I just thought it would take away from the beauty of all of these clusters of snowflakes. So I decided not to, which is really rare because I always feel like it needs some kind of saying or something on it. But I really wanted the snowflakes to stand out for themselves. So I took it back to my turner and I gave it a full coat of epoxy, and then I had a little epoxy left over, so I added a little bit of Fancy from Diamonds and Dust into my mix. It's a chunkier gold, and I just kind of randomly placed those chunky spots all over the tumbler. I just wanted to add just a little bit more texture to it and bring in the splatter paint, kind of goes with the whole feel of the chunky glitter. But after that coat, I gave it one more final coat with no glitter, no additive, and it was all done. I hope y'all love this tumbler as much as I do because I love it so much. I had my favorites when I originally started thinking of all of these tumblers for the series, and every one seems to be my favorite. But as usual, I will leave all of the information where to find me and the products to use down in the description box, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 5.